विभिन्न गतिविधिमा पनि सक्रिय छ। यसले हरेक वर्ष कन्क्लेभको आयोजना पनि गर्छ र अर्थतन्त्रका विविध प्रश्नको जवाफ खोज्नेदेखि पेचिला विषयमा बहस संवादहरू चलाइरहेको छ र विभिन्न प्रमिसिङ संस्थाहरूलाई उत्साह भर्ने काम पनि गर्दछ। र आजको हामी यो 8th एडिसनमा छौँ, 8औं एडिसनमा छौँ। हामीसँग आजको हाम्रो कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अतिथि माननीय मन्त्रीज्यू दामोदर भण्डारी आइसक्नु भएको छ, मिनिस्टर अफ इन्डस्ट्री, कमर्स एन्ड सप्लाइज आजको हाम्रो कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अतिथि। उहाँलाई तालीबाट पनि म स्वागत गरिदिनुका लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। हाम्रो निमन्त्रणालाई स्वीकार गरेर आफ्नो व्यस्त तालिकाको बावजुद पनि हामीलाई समय दिनुभएको छ। हामी अत्यन्तै आभारी छौँ उहाँको यो गरिमामय उपस्थितिका लागि। मन्त्रीज्यूलाई स्वागत गर्दै म कार्यक्रम अगाडि बढाउने पनि अनुमति चाहन्छु। आज हामी 8औं संस्करणमा छौँ। एशियन पेन्ट्स प्रेजेन्ट्स न्यूबीज बिजनेस कन्क्लेभ एन्ड बिजनेस एक्सलेन्स अवार्ड हो। यो दुईवटा भागमा हामीले यो कार्यक्रमलाई विभाजन गरेका छौँ। सुरुवातको भागमा एउटा छलफल चल्नेछ र आजको हाम्रो छलफलको थीम रहेको छ बिजनेस अपर्च्युनिटिज इन डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स। कठिन समयमा नै व्यक्तिको, संस्थाको, राज्यको क्षमता कति छ भनेर पहिचान गर्न सकिन्छ। यो कठिन समयले बिजनेसका लागि के कस्ता अप्ठ्याराहरू लिएर आएको छ र अप्ठ्यारा सँगसँगै सम्भावना पनि के छ, चुनौती सँगसँगै सिल्भर लाइनिङ के छ भन्ने विषयमा छलफल हुनेछ। र भनिन्छ अ पेसिमिस्ट सीज द डिफिकल्टी इन एभ्री अपर्च्युनिटी एन्ड अप्टिमिस्ट सीज द अपर्च्युनिटी इन एभ्री डिफिकल्टी भने जस्तै च्यालेन्जले कसरी अपर्च्युनिटीहरू लिएर आएको छ भन्ने विषयमा हामी छलफल र संवाद गर्नेछौँ। र आज हामी यो 8th एनुअल इभेन्ट अफ न्यू बिजनेस एजमा आइपुग्दा लेट्स टेक अ मोमेन्ट टु रिकग्नाइज आवर पार्टनर्स एशियन पेन्ट्स, एनआइसी एशिया ब्याङ्क, टियागो इभी, नबिल ब्याङ्क, नेसनल लाइफ इन्स्योरेन्स, राष्ट्रिय वाणिज्य ब्याङ्क, एशियन लाइफ इन्स्योरेन्स, नेपाल बिमा प्राधिकरण, एमआई नेपाल, एनएलजी इन्स्योरेन्स, प्रभु ब्याङ्क, सोनाम, डिस होम फाइबरनेट, भोग इभेन्ट्स, हिमालय टिभी र द सोल टी काठमाडौँ जसको परिसरमा आज हामी यो कार्यक्रम अगाडि बढाइरहेका छौँ। र कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउने क्रममा म साथीहरूलाई, प्राविधिक साथीहरूलाई राष्ट्रिय गान बजाइदिनु हुनका लागि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। राष्ट्रिय गान बज्दा कृपया यसको गरिमालाई कायम गर्दै उठिदिनु होला। आई रिक्वेस्ट एभ्रीबडी टु राइज व्हाइल द नेसनल एन्थम इज बिङ प्लेड।
ठुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली, सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली। सयौं ठुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली, सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली। प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचला, वीरहरूका राजकाले ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तराई पहाड हिमाल, अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल। बहुजाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छ विशाल, अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल।
Thank you. I request all of you to remain seated. कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउने क्रममा अब हामी पानसमा दीप प्रज्वलन गरेर एशियन पेन्ट्स प्रेजेन्ट्स न्यूबिज बिजनेस कन्क्लेभ एन्ड बिजनेस एक्सलेन्ट अवार्डको समुद्घाटन गर्ने कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउँदैछौँ। यसका लागि म माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई पनि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। आजका हाम्रो चिफ गेस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मिनिस्टर अफ इन्डस्ट्री, कमर्स एन्ड सप्लाइज दामोदर भण्डारीज्यू। यसै गरी म न्यू बिजनेस एजका सिइओ तथा एमडी मदन लम्साल सरलाई पनि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु, चेयरम्यान। साथसाथै आई रिक्वेस्ट मिस्टर गोपाल कृष्णन जी, कन्ट्री डाइरेक्टर अफ एशियन पेन्ट्स नेपाल, तिनैजनालाई म पानसमा दीप प्रज्वलन गर्ने कार्यक्रममा सहभागी हुनका लागि पनि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। सँगै हाम्रो एशियन पेन्ट्स प्रेजेन्ट्स न्यूबिज बिजनेस कन्क्लेभ एन्ड बिजनेस एक्सलेन्स अवार्डको औपचारिक रूपमा समुद्घाटन सम्पन्न भएको छ। धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छु सबैजनालाई, प्रमुख अतिथि सँगसँगै। र अब म कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउने अनुमति पनि यहाँहरूलाई माग्न चाहन्छु। र एनबिए न्यू बिजनेस एज नेपालमा पत्रकारिताको व्यावसायिक धर्मलाई मान्दै पालना गर्दै व्यावसायिक गतिविधिको प्रोत्साहन गर्नका लागि विभिन्न क्रियाकलापहरू गर्दै आइरहेको एउटा मिडिया ग्रुप हो र त्यसैको एउटा संस्करण पनि हो यो अवार्ड सेरेमनी र सँगसँगै हामीले एउटा डिस्कसन पनि अबको केही बेरमै हेर्नेछौँ त्यसमा सहभागी हुनेछौँ अर्थतन्त्रका विविध विषय समेटिएका डिस्कसनहरू लामो समयदेखि चलाउँदै आइरहेको छ न्यू बिजनेस एजले आर्थिक अभियान daily.com को नाममा सँगसँगै newbusinessage.com भनेर दुईवटा न्युज पोर्टल साइट पनि सञ्चालन गर्दै आइरहेको पनि म यहाँहरूलाई जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु राष्ट्र निर्माणको मेरुदण्ड अर्थतन्त्र हो अर्थतन्त्र ठिक ट्र्याकमा अगाडि नबढेसम्म मुलुक समृद्ध शान्ति स्थायित्वतर्फ अगाडि कहिले पनि बढ्न सक्दैन त्यसकारणले गर्दा आर्थिक गतिविधि मजबुत हुनुपर्छ भन्ने हेतुले हाम्रो न्यू बिजनेस एज फ्यामिलीले विभिन्न क्रियाकलापहरू अर्थतन्त्रलाई चलायमान बनाउने गरि नै रहेको छ कार्यक्रमलाई अगाडि बढाउँदै आज हामी केका लागि उपस्थित भएका छौँ न्यू बिजनेस एजले यो कार्यक्रम हरेक वर्ष किन गर्दै आइरहेको छ यसको प्राथमिकता के हो र आज हामी केका लागि भेला भएका छौँ भन्ने विषयमा प्रकाश पारिदिनुका लागि अब म आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु मदन लम्सालज्यूलाई उहाँले आजको यस कार्यक्रमका बारेमा थोरै लाइट सेड गर्नुहुनेछ त्यसपछि हाम्रो बाँकी कार्यक्रम अगाडि बढ्नेछ धन्यवाद
Good afternoon, distinguished guests gathered here today and those joining us via Facebook and YouTube Live. I extend a very warm greetings to you all. Very good afternoon. Welcome to the 8th NewBiz Conclave and Business Excellence Award 2024. We are here to celebrate innovation and excellence in Nepal's business landscape, something we have been doing since 2013. We are honored to have Minister of Industry with us today, along with Mr. Manav Majumdar from FICCI, who is Senior Advisor for FICCI India, as a keynote speaker. I want to extend a warm welcome to all our guests from academia, government, and business world who have joined us today. After the panel discussions on the conclave theme, we will be recognizing outstanding companies and individuals in various sectors, including tourism and healthcare sectors, aided from this year only for their exceptional contributions. Our jury panels, comprising business leaders and experts, have worked tirelessly to select deserving honorees. We salute their efforts. I want to acknowledge the support of our sponsors, including some banks and insurance companies, as our sponsors for this year's event, whose contributions have been invaluable. We assure you that our selection process remains unbiased. I repeat, our selection process remains unbiased. Special thanks to Asian Paints, of course, who have been our title sponsor since 2013, and all other supporters who have made this event possible. I also commend the hard work of the entire NewBiz team. Congratulations in advance to the 10 organizations and an individual receiving special honors today. While we celebrate them, let's remember there are many more worthy candidates out there whom we could not reach due to our limitations. Thanks to everyone present here today, including our speakers and supporters. Hope to see you again in 2025. Let's get started with today's agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madan Lamsa, Chairman, NBA, आफ्नो स्वागत मन्तव्य सँगसँगै सेटअप पनि टोन गरिदिनु भयो हामी कसरी अगाडि बढ्छौँ भन्ने विषयमा र यो 8औं संस्करण हो दिस इज द 8th एडिसन एशियन पेन्ट्स प्रेजेन्ट्स न्यू बिजनेस कन्क्लेभ एन्ड बिजनेस एक्सलेन्स अवार्ड र 2013 देखि आजको यो दिनसम्म आइपुग्दा हामीले के गर्यौँ भनेर छोटकरीमा एउटा ग्लिम्प्स छ, एउटा भिडियो छ। गएको कन्क्लेभलाई हामीले समराइज गरेर एउटा छोटो एभी बनाएका छौँ। अबको क्रममा यहाँहरू सबैजनालाई ध्यान आकर्षण त्यो एभीतर्फ गराउन चाहन्छु। थ्याङ्क यू। Thank you so much attention का लागि 2023 एडिसनको ग्लिम्प्सेस हामीले भर्खरै मात्र हेऱ्यौँ। यो पटक एसियन पेन्ट्स हाम्रो टाइटल स्पोन्सरका रूपमा अगाडि आएको छ। हामी एसियन पेन्ट्सलाई धन्यवाद पनि ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छौँ। र अब हामी मिस्टर गोपाल कृष्णन जी, कन्ट्री डाइरेक्टर अफ एसियन पेन्ट्स, उहाँको तर्फबाट आजको यो थिमका बारेमा पनि कुराकानी अथवा भनौँ उहाँका विचारहरू सुन्नेछौँ। गोपाल कृष्णन जी is a chemistry graduate with an executive diploma in marketing from IIMA and IIMC, boasts 28 years of experience in the paint industry, spanning India and Asian Paints global operation. Joining in 1995, he excelled across retail, sales marketing, and institutional sales. Currently as General Manager and Country Director at Asian Paints Nepal Private Limited since October 2021, he continues to drive success with his diverse expertise. May I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Gopal Krishnanan ji for his remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, welcome to the Minister of Industries for gracing this occasion and all the distinguished guests who are part of this. As Madanji put it very nicely, we have been partnering with Business Age for almost now a decade. And Asian Paints has been in Nepal for now 40 years. We recently completed our 40th year. I think it is one of those organizations which came into Nepal when Nepal opened up the economy almost 7-8 years before India opened up. That way, Nepal is a progressive country in a lot of spaces. Yes, there is a dimension of business which is slightly unique to Nepal, sandwiched between two mammoth economies, China and India, and a population which is just 3 crores. So that is one way of looking at Nepal. But the other way of looking at Nepal is, it's a country which is in many ways retained its own unique identity. It's been part of multiple organizations coming in and going out. It's also seen a lot of ups and downs, both in terms of economic prosperity as well as the impact it has seen through various vagaries of nature, be it the earthquake, which we all recently experienced 7-8 years back. It's very vividly in memory. I think, so Nepal has seen its own ups and downs. And when me and Madanji were discussing about the theme, because I think we were doing after a couple of years this conclave, and last 1.5 years has been quite, I would not use the word difficult, I would use the word uncertain. and it's not that in Nepal has seen uncertain times in the past. We have seen many ups and downs. In fact, I think one of the best 5-6 years of economic performance was post the earthquake, if we all remember. And even after COVID, I think we saw a bounce back in 21-22. So somewhere Nepal has seen multiple such ups and downs. But this time it's a little special because it was a problem of plenty in the past, but I think it's a problem of few but quite unique ones. Let me just articulate what I mean by problem of few. The banks have money, lot of money, that's what we hear, but the businesses don't have money. Consumers have money, that's what the remittance data says, but no one is spending. That's a unique space for any economy to be, isn't it? Normally it is difficult, the banks are going through difficult terms. In fact, Nepal did go through that 3-4 years back, and now I think we are seeing a softening of interest rate regime. So they are flush with money. Remittances have been, whatever we look at data, last 15-16 months, it's been in double digits, high double digits. In fact, most of those double digits have 20% plus month-on-month growths compared to the previous period. So monies are coming to the consumers, but the businesses don't have money. Liquidity crisis. So one can take a step back and see, yeah, it's an easy problem to solve, right? Cut the interest rates, everything will be hunky-dory. But that hasn't been the case so far. Yeah, because it is not such easy mathematics we are looking at, but there's a little complex domain which is into play. And when we look at that complex domain, it's compounded by the fact there is something that the youth of Nepal is seeing attractive outside Nepal. It's not been that we have not been seeing people going outside. But I think the last year or so, maybe in the last 6 months or so, there is almost a sort of an exodus, which one can notice. So that puts into perspective a larger question. One, we are a 3 crore population. That way the demand itself is small. If this 3 crores is further going to come down in terms of people going out, because what the data says is out of every 10 going earlier, maybe 5 or 6 were coming back after 5-6 years, but this exodus which is happening, one is not very sure how many is going to come back to Nepal. And I think if you all look at our own families, look at a kid who is there in 8th standard or 9th standard, what do you want to be? I think they are very clear which country they want to go and do their graduation, but they are not sure what they are going to come and do once graduation is done. Maybe that is a larger problem. Yes, so I can say this problem which we are facing is much more intense and not just an economic aspect, but it's a larger social and I would say an impact which can have far-reaching consequences. And I'm sure government is completely aware of that, and I think the recent shuffling which has happened in the government, I'm sure is going to address it head on, because I also hear a lot of plans the bureaucracy and the government is working on in terms of reviving economy. But coming today to the topic, and that's where this whole topic was born. How do we look at opportunities in difficult times? It's always a no-brainer to look at opportunities when things are hunky-dory and things are going up. But it's not going to be easy when things are down. And I'm quite conscious as I speak, because we as an industry, when we belong to the construction industry in paints and we also into bath business, a lot of this is in construction. We know for sure the last 1.5 years have been difficult for the industry per se. But at the same time, we are also very, very confident that there will be a bounce back. The question is when and how. But are we going to wait for the bounce back? Are we going to wait for things to get normal by its own? But can the industry do something about it? And I think that's what gave birth to this whole topic of how do one look at opportunities during difficult times. And I think business leaders are the think tanks which normally, apart from the economists and the think tanks in the government, I think it is equally important business start thinking about this and what role that they can play in terms of looking at what opportunities can be leveraged during difficult times. It's much easier said than done as a topic, but that's what we thought we will today pose as a challenge to the eminent panelists who will discuss. And I'm personally very curious and excited to look for answers as the panelists deep dive into those opportunities. And I request that this is a sort of a topic, and I'm sure even if we can get one gem out of this conversation, I think it will do a wonder to the larger economy and the larger, the kind of positive thing which we are looking for, we are hoping for today. I think a lot of those positive things can come from some great success stories, and I'm equally curious and looking forward to those outcomes which will come from today's conclave theme. And I also believe that brands, larger perspective, if you look at it, brands sustain their presence in such difficult times. In fact, they become more strong. And we believe as a brand which has been in the space of offering consumer services through beautifying homes of consumers, we believe that these are times where it makes even more sense to look at the consumer much more closely. Because it is very easy to bring the products from some other place and just repackage it and offer it in Nepal. But that's okay, that's just the product. But are we offering the way the Nepali consumer wants? Are we offering the way the Nepali people like that to be seen and consumed? Are we offering it the way that it is going to add value to them? Maybe these are some pointers which were there when we were looking at this topic, but there are multiple things which are also there in terms of efficiencies and efficacies of scale. How can one improve productivity? How can one improve productivity to the extent that the pricing benefits can be passed on to the consumers? Who can take price cuts at this time when the businesses are down? Is it possible? Is it even something somebody can think of? But if I do that, will it come with cut in quality or quantity? Neither. That's the ideal way to be. But these are the challenges I think every business leader, including most of us present here, would be facing. So I'm quite curious to listen to the audience as well as the outcome of the conclave theme panel. And I think even if we can take a leaf or two, I'm sure we can go back with that energy and that hope and implement in our business, which finally all adds up to economic performance in Nepal, right? The economic performance of Nepal is nothing but the business all put together. Simple terms, what we call as GDP is nothing but all our individual consumption, whether we call ourselves corporate or government businesses. Finally, it's about making those enterprises sustainable and prosperous. So with having said that, I'm very sure Nepal is a resurgent country. People here are resilient. We have seen worse than these things. We have seen much more bigger natural vagaries, and we have come over this. And I think one liquidity crisis is one more thing I'm sure Nepal will see through. And I'm really looking forward to the bureaucracy and the government really enabling the industry to take that journey and the leap forward. Thanking you, wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gopal Krishnananji, Country Director, Asian Paints Nepal, for setting the tone. Thank you so much for setting the tone for today's discussion. आजको हाम्रो डिस्कसनको थीम रहेको छ business opportunities in difficult times. Obstacle र opportunities को बीचमा थोरै सानो thin line हुन्छ भनिन्छ. त्यो thin line लाई हामीले कसरी परिपूर्ति गर्न सक्छौं भन्ने विषयमा नै हाम्रो छलफल केन्द्रित रहनेछ र जहाँ समस्या हुन्छ त्यहाँ उपायहरू पनि निस्किन्छ. सिल्भर लाइनिङ के छ हाम्रो अर्थतन्त्रको भन्ने विषयमा हाम्रो छलफल अब अगाडि बढ्नेछ. यहाँहरूले यो छलफलमा ध्यानपूर्वक आफ्नो सहभागिता जनाउनु हुनेछ भन्ने पनि मेरो अपेक्षा रहेको छ. र अघि नै मैले भनिसके हाम्रो छलफलको थीम रहेको छ बिजनेस अपर्च्युनिटिज इन डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स. र अब म प्यानलिस्टहरूलाई अगाडि आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु. हाम्रो पहिलो प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मिस्टर आनन्द बगारिया, म्यानेजिङ Director, NewBiz Holding Private Limited. र त्योभन्दा अगाडि मोडरेटरको एउटा प्रेजेन्टेसन रहेको पनि मैले जानकारी पाएको छु. थोरै हाम्रो प्यानलिस्टको बारेमा म यहाँहरूलाई जानकारी दिन चाहन्छु. Mr. Bagaria is a self-made entrepreneur with a diverse background, armed with a Bachelor of Engineering from Bangalore and a Master's from MIT's Entrepreneur Program. He has been a driving force in various organizations. NewBiz, under his leadership, emerged during Nepal's transformative period, prioritizing quality and prosperity amidst challenges from trading to poultry and now consumer goods. NewBiz reflects Bagaria's ethos, turning adversity into opportunity, sowing seeds of success in every season. हाम्रो अर्को प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मिस सेवा पाठक, Chief Executive Officer, Vianet Communication. Ms. Pathak worked as a finance manager at Sikhar Insurance in her early days after becoming a chartered accountant. After some time, she started working for her husband's company, Vianet, after the introduction of fiber to the home technologies. She worked full-time in the company for its implementation. With time, she started working as the CEO of the company. हाम्रो अर्को प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मिस सेवा पाठक. प्यानलिस्टहरूको हौसला तालीले पनि बढाइदिनु हुनुको लागि म अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. सँगसँगै अर्को प्यानलिस्ट हुनुहुन्छ मिस्टर अमलाल Mukherjee, Managing Director, Unilever Nepal Limited, UNL. Mr. Mukherjee, as the MD and CEO of Unilever Nepal Limited since April 2020, brings over 30 years of industry expertise. His career trajectory from frontline sales to core marketing showcases his diverse skill set with prior experience of managing Hindustan Unilever's East India business. He's a key member of Unilever's Global and South Asia leadership team. Mukherjee's leadership at UNL signifies a commitment to driving growth and innovation in the Nepali market, leveraging his extensive background in general management, brand management, and sales and marketing. हामीसँग मोडरेटरका रूपमा हुनुहुन्छ मिस्टर रञ्जित आचार्य, CEO, Creative Head, Prisma Advertising. Mr. Acharya, a seasoned entrepreneur, heads Prisma Advertising, a leading marketing firm with a 30-year of legacy. His entrepreneurial venture extends to the IT sector, where he chairs the board of Spark Technology Private Limited, encompassing digital advertising and innovation. Additionally, Acharya plays a crucial role in the education sector, notably promoting Samskriti International School, South Asia's sole IPC accredited institution. May I have the pleasure of inviting our moderator, and I think he has a presentation as well. Over to our moderator, Mr. Ranjit Acharya, CEO, Creative Head, Prisma Advertising.
Thank you, Samaji. Good evening to all of you. One of the most difficult and challenging topic given to us to deliberate upon and see hope, instill hope, and bring back that confidence that we've lost in our economic sector. While I say this, are we really in trouble or not is the question that we will have to answer. Are we stopping our watch to save time? We need to also look into it. By stopping our watch, if we are thinking that we are saving time, then we're losing out in a big way. With this, I would like to just take you through one of the presentations that gives us some insight where we are at this point in time. When we're looking at current situation, I'm not presenting you data, but I'm giving you context where we are and what is happening with us. If we look at major features, there is changing pattern of economy. All of us can witness that. There is changing pattern in our GDP again. And share of primary and secondary sectors is reducing. That primary and secondary sectors share in our GDP is reducing. Share of tertiary service sector is growing. So there is shift that is happening. And digitization and gig economy is also growing. Population growth rate has reduced. It is in reducing trend. That is changing our demography. On top of that, the migration that we are looking at is changing the demography in terms of male-female ratio too. There was a time when brands used to target male consumers, have to now look at female consumers as their primary target group, because of the demographic shift that we can witness. Again, this out-migration of the youth, which is resulting in growth of demand and reduction in the working age people in the country, we are also facing crisis in the job market because we're not finding right people for the right jobs. Also, we have per capita income growing, resulting in change in the composition of goods and services consumed. So these are some of the features that we can witness. And what are the stress points that we can see, like economy is going through at this point in time? Most of the businesses are under stress, be it financial sector, be it industries, or any other business. But some of the exceptions are there when we look at tourism, when we look at some sectors like IT, then we see some ray of hope. Banks are unable or hesitant to extend loans. As Mr. Gopal was talking about, banks have money, but businesses have liquidity crisis. I would like to put it little in another way. Banks have money, they want to give it to the people who don't need money. And those who are in need of money, banks are not ready to give them. So that would be more precise situation analysis for banking sector. And of course, weak economic growth rate, that is always there with us right now. What other stress points that we have is overcapacity in number of industries. This is one of the pertinent phenomenon in Nepal's context. When something is doing good, everyone wants to jump into the same pool. And that's what brings in a lot of players in the market. You can see in every sector, you will see more than required number of players in the market. And the cake size, while it is reducing, the competition and the unhealthy competition brings down the revenue model for every business. And that is also one of the suffering point for all of us. Stagnation in investment, both in terms of domestic investment as well as FDIs. We know the reasons why investment is not happening. One of the biggest reason I see is confidence. There's zero level of confidence in business sector, in investment side. No one is confident to put in money in businesses at this point in time, and we have to bring back that confidence which will take us forward. So some investments are coming in, high-end hotels. We can see a lot of chain of hotels are coming to Nepal. Again, there is always a debate that do we need these many or not? But they are coming in, most probably because of their chain marketing efforts, we will get much better quality tourists to Nepal. That's the ray of hope that we can cross fingers and expect to happen. So, again, good part is tourist inflow is back to 2019, which is not enough, but at least we are seeing positive trend there. One of the positive trend that we can talk about at this point in time is there is a property in Nepal which is selling at $1,500 per night for a couple, and that too with a minimum booking of 7 days. And they are having waiting list of their clientele. That's something positive for all of us to cheer about. And there is some hope. Quality tourism, if delivered well, can bring in a lot of quality tourists to Nepal. Decline in both imports and exports, of course, because there is low demand. There's shift in demography. Because of that, there is this challenge. Again, foreign exchange reserves and banking system that went very low 2 years ago have now grown beyond what is needed. So, were we stopping our watch to save time is much more relevant to this point where government said, like, let's stop all the imports because we don't have foreign reserves. And that's what brought in that confidence to zero level of the business sector. And that's where the market started showing negative trend. Government is holding investment summit, something good. A number of business laws have been amended. Some more amendments under consideration of Parliament. So hoping that this investment summit will again bring Nepal back in the radar of investors outside Nepal. And we will see something moving in positive direction. That's what sets the tone. So with all these points with us, what we need to do is the question that we would want to address to. We have been blaming, for some, we are always blaming government. Sometimes we blame banking sector. Sometimes we blame education sector. For sometimes we blame business sector, private sector. And some of us just keep blaming at dirty politics, cost of federalism, all that becomes an excuse for us. Laws and the legal system, of course, again, there is a blame game that's happening. New technology, which the theft, we are blaming that, okay, small retailers are suffering because there are online deliveries happening. So shift in behavior is also one of the excuses that we're bringing in. So with all these blame games, is there a possibility that being from business community, can we do something? Are we doing something right? What can be done at these challenging times that we don't need to pinpoint or point fingers at others and start doing our own efforts, making it into creating positive results? Can we do something? That's the point that we are going to deliberate upon in today's panel discussion. And to do that, what is the theme that we're going to take forward? Of course, doing business in challenging times is the main theme of the conclave, but we would want to talk about, do we need to recalibrate ourselves? Do we need to recalibrate because demography is changed, population dynamics is changed, behavior is changing? Do we need to recalibrate as businesses or not? How do we revitalize at this point in time when we have such low confidence? And do we need to reinforce from our side? Do we create that in reinforcement so that something shows the result and we start moving forward? With these three key words, we are going to have the panel discussion today. I would like to invite all three panelists, Mr. Amlan Mukherjee, Mr. Anand Bagaria, and Ms. Seva Pathak, to take your seats.
प्यानलिस्ट मोडरेटर सबैजनालाई स्वागत गर्दै धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छु र हाम्रो यो सेसन एकदमै फ्रुटफुल हुनेछ भन्ने पनि अपेक्षा राख्दछु। हामीसँग आज प्रमुख अतिथिका रूपमा माननीय उद्योग वाणिज्य तथा आपूर्ति मन्त्री श्री दामोदर भण्डारीजी हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँको कार्य व्यस्तताका कारणले गर्दा थोरै हामीले यो शेड्युललाई तलमाथि पारेका छौँ र अबको क्रममा म उहाँलाई मन्तव्य राख्नका लागि स्टेजमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु र प्यानलिस्ट स्पिकरहरू यहीँबाट माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूको भनाइहरू सुनिदिनु होला। थ्याङ्क यू सो मच।
कार्यक्रमका सभाध्यक्षज्यू, कार्यक्रममा सहभागी छिमेकी मुलुकका मित्रहरू, पाहुनाहरू, आमन्त्रित महानुभावहरू, आयोजित कार्यक्रमको महत्त्व र यसको सान्दर्भिकता यो छलफलले पक्कै पनि ल्याउनेछ। यसका निष्कर्षहरूलाई सरकारले आत्मसात गर्नेछ। म त्यो प्रतिबद्धता व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु र यतिखेर प्रतिकूलतामा हाम्रा व्यवसायहरू, उद्योगहरू, लगानीहरू आज सङ्कटमा छ। नेपालको अर्थतन्त्रमा आज चुनौतीहरू छन्। उद्योग वाणिज्य क्षेत्र आज चुनौतीपूर्ण छ र यो चुनौतीको सँगसँगै सम्भावनाहरू पनि जीवित रहन्छ र चुनौतीहरूको कारणको खोजी यहाँहरूले पनि औल्याउनु हुनेछ। यो छलफलका केही निष्कर्ष पनि आउनेछन् र त्यसलाई सम्भावनामा बदल्नुपर्नेछ। सरकारले केही दिन अगाडि आफ्ना सङ्कल्पका साझा कार्यक्रमहरू सार्वजनिक गरेको छ। निराशालाई चिर्दै, आशा जगाउँदै हामी केही अवधारणाहरू सार्वजनिक भएका छन्। त्यो यहाँहरूलाई विदितै छ र त्यसको जगमा यतिखेर हामी ती आशाका सञ्चारहरूतर्फ उन्मुख हुन खोजिरहेका छौँ। नेपालको उद्योग क्षेत्र, वाणिज्य क्षेत्रलाई यतिखेर जे सङ्कटहरू छन् त्यसको मोचन गर्न सरकारले चाँडै लगानी सम्मेलन मार्फत हामी केही नयाँ दिशा लिन खोजिरहेका छौँ। लगानी किन भित्रिएको छैन? लगानी मैत्री वातावरण किन बन्न सकेन? समृद्धिको हामीले सङ्कल्प गरेका छौँ। हामीले राजनीतिक अधिकारहरू, संविधानले प्रदत्त गरेका अधिकारहरू त्यसलाई पुरा गर्नुपर्नेछ। आज नेपालको ठुलो जनशक्ति विदेशिँदै छ। यहाँका सम्भावनाहरू प्रति एउटा निराशा छ, त्यसलाई चिर्नुपर्नेछ। त्यसका लागि त्यसका कारणहरू मध्ये हामीले थुप्रै कारण होलान्। भू राजनीतिक कारणहरू होलान्, त्यसमा राजनीतिक अस्थिरता होला, अझ नीतिगत रूपमा पनि केही हाम्रा अस्पष्टताहरूले त्यसको आधार तयार गर्न सकेन। त्यसैले यी विषयहरूमा सरकार अत्यन्त संवेदनशील छ र मूलतः नीतिगत रूपमा रहेका प्रश्नहरूलाई यतिखेर निजी क्षेत्रसँग, विभिन्न निजी क्षेत्रसँग सम्बद्ध व्यक्तित्वहरूलाई पनि म यहाँ देखिरहेको छु। तपाईहरूसँग सरकारले यतिखेरको लगानी सम्मेलनलाई ध्यानमा राखेर हामीले यही मन्त्रालयको तर्फबाट झन्डै 10वटा कानुनहरू हामी संशोधन गर्न गइरहेका छौँ, परिमार्जित गर्न गइरहेका छौँ। अन्तर मन्त्रालयसँग रहेका कानुनहरू पनि हामीले त्यसलाई गम्भीरतापूर्वक छलफल गरेर त्यसलाई द्रुत गतिबाट, फास्ट ट्र्याकबाट हामी त्यसलाई सुधार गरेर, ताकि लगानीकर्ताहरूले पनि ढुक्कले अब कुनै अलमल छैन, अब नीतिगत रूपमा समस्याहरू छैनन्, त्यसलाई प्रष्ट रूपमा सरकारले देखायो, त्यसलाई संशोधन गर्यो। अब हामी त्यो बाटोबाट लगानी गर्न इच्छुक विभिन्न दात्री निकायहरू र निजी क्षेत्र जो आज पनि यी समस्यासँग लामो समयदेखि यी कुराहरूको सुधारको माग गर्दै आइरहेका तपाईहरू जसले यो मुलुकको समृद्धिमा एउटा ठुलो यहाँहरूको योगदान छ, त्यो योगदानलाई अझ बढाउन चाहन्छ। निजी क्षेत्र जबसम्म समृद्ध बन्दैन, सरकारले उल्लेख गरेको छ कि नेपालको अर्थतन्त्रको 3 खम्बे अर्थनीति ल्याएको छ, त्यसमा निजी क्षेत्र, सहकारी, राज्य भनेर परिभाषित छ र यी सबै क्षेत्रमा आज जो खालको निराशा छ यसलाई चिर्दै एउटा आशामा बदल्दै, सम्भावनामा बदल्दै हामीले यो मुलुकको समृद्धि, यहाँको रोजगारी, विशेषतः अहिले पनि कार्यक्रमहरू सरकारले स्टार्टअपका नीतिहरूलाई प्राथमिकीकरण गरेको छ। हाम्रो नेपाली उत्पादनलाई सरकारले प्रोत्साहित गरेको छ। प्रधानमन्त्री उत्पादन अभिवृद्धि कार्यक्रम जस्ता कार्यक्रमहरू हामीले अगाडि बढाउन खोजिरहेका छौँ र यी लगायतका नेपाली स्रोत साधनमा आधारित साना मझौला उद्योगहरूलाई पनि हामी प्रोत्साहित गर्दैछौँ। सरकारको प्राथमिकतामा रहन्छ कृषिजन्य, पर्यटन, साना मझौला उद्योग, खानीजन्य, ऊर्जा र थुप्रै यस्ता हाम्रा सम्भावनाका, ती प्रचुर सम्भावना जहाँ छन् ती सम्भावनाहरूका ढोकाहरूलाई सरकार खोल्न चाहन्छ। त्यसमा हामी विभिन्न देशी विदेशी लगानीकर्ताहरूलाई हामी भित्र्याउन चाहन्छौँ र त्यसमा अझ हामी सुधारका पक्षहरू सरकारले ती कुराहरूलाई यतिखेर प्राथमिकतामा राखेको छ र हिजो पनि सञ्चालनमा रहेका थुप्रै उद्योगहरू कुनै कालो सूचीमा रहेका छन्, त्यसको पनि वर्गीकरण हामी गर्दैछौँ। त्यसलाई कसरी अब सञ्चालनमा ल्याउने, रुग्ण उद्योगहरू, त्यसलाई एउटा विधिबाट हामी चाँडै त्यसका मोडालिटीमा पनि हामी अलि छलफल गर्छौँ। त्यसमा यहाँहरूका सुझावहरूलाई ग्रहण गर्छौँ। त्यो रुग्ण उद्योगहरूलाई पनि कसरी सञ्चालनमा ल्याउने र वाणिज्य नीतिमा पनि समयानुकूल हामी सुधार गर्ने त्यसमा हामी मित्र राष्ट्रहरूसँग छलफल गरेर त्यसमा पनि केही पहल कदमी गर्ने कुरा सरकारले प्राथमिकतामा राखेको छ। त्यसैले यतिखेर हामी सरकारको प्राथमिकता नेपालको उद्योग, व्यवसाय, पर्यटन, ऊर्जा, जडीबुटी अरू थुप्रै हाम्रा साना मझौला लघु उद्योगहरूलाई फेरि हामी प्रोत्साहित गर्ने हाम्रा जुन कार्यक्रम छन् अबको नयाँ आर्थिक वर्षमा सरकारले यी कुराहरूलाई पनि प्राथमिकतामा राख्नेछ। हाम्रो नीति कार्यक्रम पनि चाँडै आउनेछ, हाम्रो प्राथमिकीकरण चाँडै आउनेछ। त्यसले ती कार्यक्रमहरूले पक्कै पनि यो क्षेत्रलाई एउटा उत्साहित गर्नेछ। उद्योगहरूको प्रवर्धन गर्ने कुरा, विस्तार गर्ने कुरा, लगानी मैत्री वातावरणलाई सुनिश्चितता गर्ने कुरामा सरकार अहिले यतिखेर लागिरहेको छ। यसको प्राथमिकता रहनेछ। म यिनै कुरा राखेर आजको यो भव्य समारोहमा यहाँहरूका जे साझा निष्कर्षहरू आउँछन् ती साझा निष्कर्षलाई पनि फेरि सरकारले आत्मसात गर्नेछ। हामी चाँडै ती कुराहरूलाई प्रवेश गराउन चाहन्छौँ। नीतिगत सुधारहरूमा पनि केही समयपछि हामीसँग थोरै समय छ अब लगानी सम्मेलनका लागि। त्यसैले अहिले विशेषतः हामी त्यही कुरामा केन्द्रित रहेर हिजो अस्ति पनि हामीले छलफल गऱ्यौँ। लामो समयदेखि हामी अब उद्योगीहरूलाई, व्यवसायीहरूलाई सरकारसँग पटक पटक माग गर्ने कुरामा त्यो कुरालाई अन्त्य गरेर तपाईहरूले अब आफ्ना व्यवसायहरूलाई हामी सुनिश्चित रूपमा अगाडि बढाउँछौँ भन्ने एउटा सम्भावना पक्कै पनि हुनेछ भन्ने कुराको विश्वास दिलाउँदै मेरो कार्यव्यस्तताले मैले यहाँका थुप्रै अहिलेको यो डिस्कसन, यो बहस आज महत्त्वपूर्ण हुनेछ। यसले आफ्नो 8औं संस्करण जो हिजो लामो समयदेखि यो क्षेत्रमा काम गरेको छ, म यो संस्थाप्रति आभार व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु, धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु र यसले निकालेका निष्कर्षलाई हामी कार्यान्वयनको चरणमा लैजानेछौँ भन्ने कुराको फेरि प्रतिबद्धता व्यक्त गर्दै म आफ्ना भनाइ अन्त्य गर्छु। धन्यवाद, नमस्ते।
आजको हाम्रो कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अतिथि माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छु उहाँको यो सम्बोधनका लागि र अर्थतन्त्र प्रतिकूल अवस्थामा रहेको र यसका लागि निजी सरकार एक ठाउँमा आउनुको विकल्प नरहेको आशय पनि उहाँले व्यक्त गरेर जानुभयो र प्रतिकूलता नै ठुलो शिक्षक हो। यो प्रतिकूलतालाई चिरेर हामी अगाडि बढ्न सक्छौँ होला, किनभने सामूहिकतामा ठुलो शक्ति हुन्छ। मन्त्रीज्यूलाई धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्दै अबको यो सेसन अगाडि बढाइदिनु हुनका लागि पनि म रञ्जित आचार्यज्यूलाई अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु र सेसनको समय 45 मिनट र 10 मिनट हामीले क्वेसन एन्सरका लागि पनि छुट्याएका छौँ। यो सेसन चलिरहँदा तपाईँका मनमा उठेका प्रश्नहरू छन् भने टिपेर राख्नुहोला। अन्त्यमा हामी तपाईँहरूका प्रश्नको पनि जवाफ खोज्नेछौँ। अबको क्रममा रञ्जित आचार्यज्यू, थ्याङ्क यू।
Thank you very much. Before I start this panel discussion, म हाम्रो माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई एउटा रिक्वेस्ट यो मञ्चबाट, यहाँले अहिले प्यानल डिस्कसन सायद पुरा बस्न असमर्थ हुनुहुन्छ। लगभग 1 वर्ष 1 महिना अगाडि म नेपाल उद्योग वाणिज्य महासङ्घको स्टार्टअप कमिटी चेयर गर्दै गर्दा उद्योग मन्त्रालयका विभिन्न सहसचिवज्यूहरू, सचिवज्यूहरूसँग बसेर स्टार्टअप नीति तयार पारेर 1 महिनामा त्यो स्टार्टअप नीति लिएर आउने भनेर हामीले एउटा जमर्को गऱ्यौँ। त्यो तयार पनि भयो, सबै भयो, तर आजसम्म आएको छैन। माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूले त्यो स्टार्टअप नीति लन्च गरेर नेपालबाट जुन युवा उद्यमीहरू पलायन हुने क्रम छ त्यसले रोक्नलाई ठुलो एउटा राम्रो स्ट्र्याटेजीको रूपमा चाहिँ आउन सक्छ। यहाँले त्यस स्टार्टअप नीतिलाई चाहिँ सिरियसली नै हेरिदिनुहुन्छ भन्ने मैले यहाँबाट अनुरोध गर्न चाहेँ। यसको साथै अब म प्यानल डिस्कसनतिर लाग्दैछु। वाइल we have discussed about, set the context, I would like to start with Mr. Amlan. Do we need to recalibrate? As we talked about recalibration, and are we in the position where it is necessary for us to recalibrate or not, looking at the dynamics of the market, consumer behavior, everything? And what have you done as MNC in current situation, scenario? What has worked for you, for Unilever? Because it has worked for your company, your brands. So please share some tips to other businesses to follow, because that will be valuable to all of us. First, do we need to recalibrate or not? If Unilever has recalibrated, done something, please share that.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you for being here, and thanks to Madanji for inviting me. First and foremost, I don't know whether it is called recalibrate or not. I think the need of the hour is to do the basics right and continue to do the basics right. What do I mean by that? Let me start by giving a data. Nepal is the 48th country in the world in terms of population, right? While it might sound low, but a near 3 crores population can take 6 or 7 European countries inside, right? But in terms of GDP, Nepal is 100th globally. I think the problem lies there. And to me, it is not a problem, it's a huge opportunity. Because this gap between 48th and 100 is the headroom. And that is the headroom which Nepal can exploit and look forward. And we have seen this example in the neighborhood. In our neighborhood, there has been equal situation where the population was higher than the GDP size in terms of ranking, but the neighborhood has come much closer and closed this gap. So hence I am starting by saying that we are optimistic about Nepal and it can happen in Nepal. Now, what is our way of making it happen? What are the things which we did? First and foremost, we sell soaps and soups. Very simple thing. We don't send rocket to the moon. So we tried to keep things very simple. What do I mean by that? In marketing, lots of you will know that there is something called 6P. These are the different P's which a marketeer or a company needs to follow. The first and foremost P is product. You know, what we did during this time is that we never compromised on the product quality. If at all, I can give you examples where we have improved upon the product quality. We have not done any product logic which has taken the product quality down, and the consumers who are habituated in a certain quality of our product in this period of time don't stop feeling the difference between us and our competitors. Because if they stop feeling the difference between us and our competitors' product, then they will move to the competitor, right? And hence we never compromise the product quality. What we did definitely is that we introduced small, lesser price product, so small sizes, so that consumers can buy number of times, but in smaller quantity. And that helped us in terms of maintaining our volume. Point number one. Point number two is that it is very important at this point of time to continue to communicate with your consumers. The first thing which lots of people do is that they reduce advertisement. They reduce communicating to the consumers, right? Because advertising is something which doesn't give the straight immediate result or cannot be quantified. I'll give you an example. Every day in Nepal television, for the last 1 year, I've been given this data that 970 times every day a Unilever ad is being played. We have increased our advertising budget in the last 2.5 years by 270%, right? Our impression in digital media for 2023 was 357 lakhs in digital media, right? So we continue to communicate with the consumers, and hence for all of the friends sitting over here One of the way in this difficult time is to find out ways to communicate to your consumers. What did Gopal say? He said that there is money, but people are not spending. So if there is money and people are not spending, then entice them to spend. Communicate with them. Tell them your product, and then they will definitely spend. During this point of time, another thing which we cannot compromise is efficiency. And what do we mean by efficiency? Efficiency generates savings. Efficiency means that you do the same job or more job in a way which saves for you. Our results are publicly published, so you can check. In the last 2 years, every year, in fact in the last 3 years, every year, we have got 10% savings on board. That 10% savings year on year has helped us to invest in media, right? And that is extremely, extremely important. We have introduced technology. In this last 3 years, we have invested almost 100 crores behind our factory. And today our factory is almost fully automized. It was necessary because that has given us efficiency. Same thing which we have done in our distribution system. 48,000 outlets we cover and all are GPS tagged. Our business to business app is downloaded by 10,000 outlets in Nepal. I don't think the e-com app which we do is being downloaded by that many. And hence we made the interaction much more efficient and hence in this difficult period, if there is one advice which I can give is that don't stop investing. If at all, make lesser profit. That's fine. But in this difficult time, if you move yourself away from the consumer consideration set, then when the time will be better, you have allowed other competition to take your pie. Whether you want to do it or not is a question which you need to ask.
Thank you, Mr. Amlan. You just reminded me of one of the quotes that I used to print in our agency's calendar in 1998-97. If your business is good, it pays to advertise. If your business is bad, you've got to advertise. So that's what you have said, and I think investment during challenging times always gives you fruitful result because your competition is not investing. Your competition is silent, so your share of voice in the market will be much larger than in regular times. So that's what I think Unilever has done, and that is something to take away. And efficiency part, which you touched upon, is something great. I would like to move on to Anand, Mr. Anand, who is also Executive Committee member of FNCCI. So I would want you to share how private sector is coping up with this current situation at this point in time and your own experience of managing your business during this difficult time. Do you see positive signs? What do you feel from the fraternities side? Like, what is the mindset?
Thank you, Ranjit. We as business community are labeled as optimists. We start with optimism, we get into difficult turbulent phases, we keep our optimism alive, and that is what is the DNA of the business community. I would like to mention 2020 when COVID hit the world and how Nepalese market reacted. I mean, March 24th is when the lockdown happened and everybody thought things are going to collapse. Each one of us were buying things for our homes, whatever was available, and probably felt like this delicacy is the last one I'm going to have, right? And Nepal turned out to be, over a period of time, we saw in the next 2 months, a lot of these online delivery companies sprung out and a lot of distribution happened. Banks again, got into the same stage as where we are today. There was surplus liquidity. People did invest. Difficult times, but investment happened. Fast forward few years, we ran through a huge liquidity crisis. Interest rates soar up to 12%, 13%, 14%. People were willing to even borrow at 15. Today, again, we are on a very reversal trajectory. Think about it. Is it the time to talk about amending laws, or is it the time to talk about creating consumption? A lot of economies in the world back in 2020 wanted to keep their demand consumption level high. A lot of things which we may not find prudent today were done then, but then economy survived. So did we. So my take on this, what I see in FNCCI my colleagues in FNCCI, that about a year and a half back, there was a hope that the government would do something or some miracle would happen in Nepal and things will be all right like they've been happening in the past. Then slowly it struck that there's nothing much that the government or the NRB could do. And today, people are talking about how to survive. Today's situation, according to me, is a net result of our past sins. Land prices, share markets, value erosion, dispensable income that was created in this period, and the habits. And today, if it's not available, we find that our GDP is slowing down our consumption. The question to me is, was the 4 to 6% GDP growth real? Or today struggling for 2 is real? When we talk about our neighboring countries, we say 6%, 7%, 8%, and they are struggling to get there. And in Nepal, it happened on its own. We did not do much about it. So the thing is, did we go wrong earlier or did we go wrong now? And is this the sum of what went wrong earlier that we are facing now? To me, it means that we need to recalibrate in that sense. We need to recorrect ourselves in that sense. Our expectation from our GDP or our consumptions were high back then. Okay, let's look at it the other way. We've just heard that we have 3 crore population. My question is, do we have that population? My estimate is our living population is close to 2 crores. But the good sign is that per capita income is increasing. There could be many ways of looking at things. We could tinker with a lot of things. There could be a lot of management and all that stuff happening. But is it not time that we talk about creating a demand rather than talking about creating policies and laws and stuff like that? So I leave you guys with this thought. Over to Ranjit.
Thank you, Anand. While you were saying that, I was thinking infrastructure, basically real estate, entire business community is right now in the doldrums. But no one has communicated that this is the time to construct a house, because it is 25% cheaper to construct the house right now than in 2020 or 21 or 22. Currently, the prices of either it is cement or steel or even labor is almost 25% cheaper. We have not communicated. Consumers have money, as we know that consumers are keeping money with them, but why are we not communicating to them, telling them that this is the right time to build your house, build your dream, and this is the right time to save money. You will spend less in making the same dream house. You can use that saved money in other luxuries. So somewhere, I think communication and creating demand, which Anand talked about, is where we need to focus on. That's what I could see. I would like to now move on to Seva. You come from a category which is growing rapidly, and your business growth is also there. How are you managing that growth at this point? And do you feel there is any recalibration required for your kind of business which is growing? And there's huge demand that is happening in IT sector when you were talking about ISP service provider. So definitely there is something happening good for you. How is it happening? And do you think there is recalibration for you too required or no?
Thank you so much, Ranjit. Before I talk about recalibration, I just want to give a snapshot of the growth that we are talking about, right? So let me give you an internet landscape. In the past 15 years, internet penetration in Nepal has increased from a mere 9% to 90% today. That's a staggering growth. Fixed broadband, I come from a fixed broadband from the ISP sector. We have managed to connect around 3 million homes, right? So as of internet penetration, we are looking at around 60 to 65% penetration at homes and in the population. So that's a staggering growth. ISP sector alone, compared to what we were in 2010, let's say, has now become a 30 arba jatiko industry, right? So that we've seen growth in terms of that. And of course, employment, ISP sector today employs thousands of employees. All that is there. What we need to recalibrate now is, that was the, let's say, phase 1.0 of the internet era, where we saw growth, where we saw penetration increasing. Of course, that is due to the regulatory framework, advent of social media, demand for internet, and of course the active and very investment from private sector as well. However, why we need to recalibrate today is, now we are entering the 2.0 of the internet phase. Now 2.0 of the internet phase is completely different from 1.0. 1.0, we were using internet mostly for, it started with emails, then social media, right? We had Facebook, Twitter, Insta. It was mostly text-based. And now we are entering another phase where it's all video, right? When you go to a Facebook or Insta right now, you do not text, you look at the videos, you look at the reels, you look at TikToks. And now, with immersive technologies, right? We are talking about metaverse, we're talking about AI, we are talking about virtual world. We're talking about, I don't know if you have parents, your kids will probably play Roblox, which is a virtual world. So all these new technologies or new requirements in the internet now will cause for another kind of a network, right? When we started in 2010, we imagined a gigabit of technology, you know, and at that time when we came up with 1 Mbps internet, we were like, oh my God, what are you going to do with that? And today, even 200 Mbps, 300 Mbps is not enough. And we are now talking about multiple gigs, not even 1 gig. We are talking about 2 gigs, 3 gigs, because the consumption has really, really soared. And now, for us to recalibrate is, how do we prepare ourselves for the next level of consumption? What kind of technology do we have to bring in? In your presentation, Ranjit, you showed that the exports from the tertiary services is increasing. And that is primarily because of the internet penetration in the country. We are able to export that. I was just looking at some data, and last year alone, we were able to export $500 million of services outside of Nepal. And that is only through a formal sector. If you look at freelancers, if you combine all of that, it is estimated to be around $1 billion industry. So now, to support this $1 billion and to increase it further, recalibration is required on the technology part. Recalibration for the ISPs today, from my sector, is required. How do we continue to survive in a very competitive landscape? Like you said, in every industry it is competitive. ISP is no less. We have 133 licensees in Nepal for a 3 crore population. So that it is a very crowded space. Ours is, how do we recalibrate our business model so that we continue to innovate and continue to bring this kind of services? Another is, what kind of infrastructure do we build now? We need to build a very robust infrastructure if you want to now really scale up IT services in Nepal. We see the potential, right? We saw 28% growth post-pandemic in IT services exported outside of Nepal. And we estimate that in the coming years, we can really double that. but for that we need a robust infrastructure. So we are really recalibrating on how do we build that infrastructure for the Internet 2.0, how do we bring those products and services. Primarily till now, we were only focusing on, let's say, connectivity or internet as a service. Going forward, we are recalibrating on how do we add value on services so that we can really accelerate this export. Thank you.
Great, something good, something positive. When you see it's talking about the growth and the percentage, that's what I think makes us alive. Thank you very much for that. We talked about recalibration, and somewhere we have realized that is the need of an hour. Be it Unilever's case of smaller SKUs of the product so that consumer does not have to invest more money while they're buying, but they can buy it time and again when they require. So that is also one kind of recalibration that has happened. And from all three panelists, they have said that yes, recalibration in a way is required. Now, if we are to recalibrate, then after that we have to revitalize too, right? We have to revitalize the situation that we are in right now. How are we doing it? I would want to start with Anand. I want your personal example of Nimbus. How are you revitalizing your business at this point in time? What have you done that we can take as an example and take tips and clues from you for other businesses?
I think the biggest thing we did is accepted that there is a problem and analyzed that where does the problem lie. And we realized that some of the problems that we identified are installed overcapacities of the same product across the country. Second, inefficient distribution system. When I say inefficient distribution system, I mean the cost of distribution, cost of taking the product to the consumer. Third is misutilization or misappropriation of the working capital available in the trade. With these three things around, what we realized is, while we will keep solving our past sins, it's time to take a new approach to the whole, or rather it's an opportunity to take a new approach to the whole thing. The whole world is going digital. There's a lot of AI applications that are coming in. There's a lot of shift from B2B to B2C. And technology leveraging is happening there. So we are also focusing on similar kind of things. We are focusing on creating synergetic partnerships rather than replicating the same effort at our end. 2, we are trying to reach the consumer directly. And 3, we are trying to innovate not in terms of distribution, but in terms of few products that we have been working on and hopefully is a solution to an existing market. These are few areas which we have been thinking about, and we are optimistic to find a niche for ourselves in the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand, for keeping it within time. Coming back to you again, Seva. As we are talking about growth and opportunity in your sector, we are also facing brain drain, right? Are you finding it difficult at this, challenging from HR point of view? Do you think that we need to revitalize that whole workforce sector where we tell them that there is growth opportunity here, there's really a good opportunity to grow in this market itself. So there is opportunity for them to be here and make their career. So do we need that revitalization or not? What have you done? Are you doing anything?
I just remember the word Gopalji just used in his keynote. He said, exodus. So yes, we have been affected by the mass exodus, I would say, in the last decade. Earlier, it used to be mostly on the physical labor part, let's say. They would go for greener pastures to different, let's say, Gulf countries, Malaysia, or wherever. And we had that, and we were sort of managing that for the longest time, because Nepal always had a migration, right? Post-pandemic, we saw another kind of exodus, and this time it was mainly from those who have a postgraduate, a graduate or a postgraduate degree, let's say for an IT professional, right? So for them, you know, they are very, very capable. Since IT is a universal language, so once you know the language, you are pretty much sellable everywhere else in the world. Although that's a good part, it's very difficult to retain them in Nepal. And we saw that happening in, post the pandemic in higher numbers. That was one thing that we found it difficult to manage. Another thing is suddenly, earlier we used to have a lot of male staff going out because they would find a job outside, right? This time it was kind of a change. We saw a lot of male going because their spouse got a visa abroad. So this was a different kind of a dynamic change. A lot of staff said, my wife is a nurse and she got a better opportunity outside. My wife is a teacher. She's a Montessori trained teacher, so she got an opportunity in Europe. So we saw another kind of a migration happening, which was not just from the labor force, but from the mid-management, IT professionals, and everyone. So post-pandemic, we really had to come out with an HR strategy, because everybody we found was just in a transition phase in Nepal. They were here until they were going out. So in the meantime, I will do something. Nobody was really looking. Very few were actually looking to make a career out in Nepal. Everybody was looking outside. So understanding that part, we had to come out with an HR strategy. Earlier, it was more sales strategy, more growth strategy, more support strategy. Then post-pandemic, it changed into how do we come out with a sustainable human resource strategy. And then we had to again go back to the drawing board and try to look each of our processes, right? And of course, being a technology company, we have the know-how and the privilege to adopt technology. So we are really looking at each of our processes and thinking, how do we now use cross-functional training? How do we now make one person do multiple things? How do we equip him to do multiple things and get the same kind of an output? So again, go back to the drawing board, again, like they say in Japanese, a Soshin mindset, a beginner's mindset, and look at each processes and see, do we need this role or not? Do we need this particular process or not? Can we combine it? So that was one strategy. Another is, again, using digital tools. This is the era of machine learning, AI. So we are also trying to incorporate that in our processes so that the dependency is less. And we have to now imagine a workforce, again, 2.0, where can we enable people to work from home, give them that flexibility, 2.0, where they can work from home, because we see a lot of women, when they work from home, they can give better outputs, right? Because they can take care of their family, they can, be with their children and still work. So designing our work processes in that way that we can retain them, and also identifying key resources which are really, really valuable to the organization, and to train them and to, incentivize them so that they are there with us till the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Seva. I'll move on to Mr. Amlan. Revitalization we are talking about. In your scope of business, what have you been doing to do this, revitalize the entire mindset? Are there any examples, similar examples outside of Nepal that revitalization has always worked for the brands and the product? In fact, in terms of Unilever's experience, you bring in that vast experience from Unilever. So if you can shed some light on that.
Yeah. So what I heard over here, and what is a fact, and what Sivaji also spoke about, this expansion of digital, the migration of people out of Nepal, and then they are coming back again, going back, that has put in a significant, I would say, opportunity and challenge to the FMCG industry. Why do I say that? With this, people are now, they are more aware of the trends globally, what is happening, what are the products which are being used. Previously, the information was within Nepal or maybe for India to some extent, China. Now they know the global trend. They want to experiment. That aspiration of using quality product is there. And hence the entire business needs to fulfill that. Otherwise, that opportunity will be lost. Let me give you an example. I'm sure all of you know, lots of you know that there is this something which is called social listening in the digital space. What is social listening? It is like, what are the trends which are being discussed by those who are exchanging in digital space. We picked up one of the social listening as natural and onion. We picked this up 1.5 years back. We introduced a variant in our brand Sunsilk, which is the largest beauty brand in Nepal, which is an onion shampoo. Today, it contributes 15% of our volume within 1 year's time, right? So that's what digital can do. That's what the trend can do to the consumers. I'll give you another quick example. When the brands are almost the same in today's world, sustainability is extremely important for the consumers to decide which brand to go for, right? The image of the brand, what that brand is doing for the society, what that brand is doing for the economy, what that brand is doing for the country. Again, let me give you an example. Today in Nepal, we withdraw 100% of the plastic which we sell with our products, we withdraw from the environment. And 60% of that we reprocess and reuse, right? Because it is important. It is important for the Mother Earth. It is important for the consumers to notice that what we are doing, we are putting carbon footprint and also we are reducing this. 90% of the power which is being used in our factory is from clean sources. We only use fossil fuel when there is a power cut. Otherwise, it is from the grid. It is 26%, it is from solar. And day before yesterday, I inaugurated something which is the electrical boiler, which has replaced the fossil fuel boiler, right? These are the things which we need to reinvent and present to the consumers, saying that we are making difference. And the last point you said about other part of the world, I'll again give an example of one of the South Asian countries, which is Sri Lanka. I think none of the other countries have seen as much crisis as Sri Lanka has seen in the year 21 and 22, right? I can talk about Unilever. What we did, number of multinationals left Sri Lanka. Number of local companies stopped operating in Sri Lanka. We stayed invested. We did things like we started export in Sri Lanka so that we can get foreign exchange and get the raw material imported, right? Let me tell you the way Sri Lanka business has done, and all of you will feel proud about it. Sri Lanka, in order to avoid the production cost of advertisement, and as they thought that their consumers' preference is similar, today is using the advertisement which is made in Nepal with the Nepali models, with the Nepali insights, and they are running it for one of the largest brand, which is Sunsilk, right? So they didn't think that it is not invented here syndrome. They picked it up from the neighboring country and ran with it. So hence, during crisis period, one needs to be smart, flexible, and trusting the future. That is what we have done, and that is what we are trying to do.
Thank you for highlighting that ad made in Nepal got used in Sri Lanka. It was not only, I was thinking that we were only doing it for Coca-Cola, but Sunsilk has also done it. So I think a lot of ads that are being produced in Nepal have the scope to go out of borders now. Now, coming back to the third round, I want to make it very brief from all three of you. I'll start from Mr. Amlan itself, reinforce. So at this, with recalibration and revitalization, like how do we reinforce the confidence, lost confidence in the market, in the consumer, in business sector, from all sides? I think we lack confidence. So how do we reinforce that? What should we do?
To me, there is only one option, is that we as business leaders or those who are in politics and other who create opinion, we need to start speaking positive. We need to start talking about opportunities. I don't think Nepal is I think, it is my view, is that the way Nepal managed the economy in 22-23 is much better than number of other countries around, right? It is not all like everything is in trouble. There are opportunities. We need to show examples of success in Nepal. If today the energy industry is a success, we need to speak about energy industry. If today any brand of Nepal has got the global footprint, we need to talk about those brands. We need to talk about success. More we talk about success, success brings success. And hence to me, we have spoken a lot about problems. It is not solving problems. Can we get into a phase where we talk about opportunities and see what happens? At least things will not go worse. That's my view.
Thank you. That was rightly put, precisely. I would like to move on to Seva. What do you think should be the reinforcement strategy for us, besides what Amlan has just said?
Yes, I think the private sector first should not lose confidence. I think that's very, very important, that the moment private sector loses confidence, we are the backbone of the economy. Like Anand said, we are optimists. So we have to keep that optimism alive. We have to keep investing in our own core products and services so that we make it better, continuously make improvement in that service, so that the consumption, so that it drives consumption, right? When the products and services are premium, it sort of helps in driving consumption as well. You can look at Apple or Google for their services, right? So first of all, the private sector should not lose hope. I think private sector in Nepal, especially the startup community in Nepal, is today very, very vibrant, and we need to nurture that. We need to really grow that. And I hope your recommendation is to the industry minister is taken care of, because it is very, very important that we sow the seeds for growth. And personally, I am very optimistic in that case, that we have to bring the startup culture. We have to nurture the private sector, because the innovation only comes from the private sector, right? So, of course, there needs to be engagement with the stakeholders, and that create that conducive environment for growth. A lot of conversation has to be done in terms of how do we nurture growth, how do we scale. Normally, a lot of conversation is more on compliance and regulatory. I think we are not talking more about growth. So if we focus more on growth, on innovation, on providing good quality services, then that will fuel the economy. And yes, we need to nurture private sector, and private sector also needs to continuously push for growth. And yeah, I think that is where the economy will move forward.
Great. Move on to Anand.
I personally feel that this is the time when the opportunities are plentiful. Back in '95, when I graduated, came back, the insurgency had just started. And there were people who said, it's difficult times. I said, it's an empty ground. Many of us who are thinking that it's not the right time, there's a lot bigger number than the number of people who are thinking this is the right time. This is the right time to make small experiments. This is the right time to fail with those experiments and come back again. And this is the time to innovate. This is the time to disrupt. Disrupt the existing businesses and find a niche for yourself. And having said that, what we are doing is we are looking at consolidation. In Nepal, if most of us in this room would realize that everybody tends to do everything else, everything. So it's time to get into a specialization mode where your specialization creates a niche for you. At NewBiz, we plan to remain agile for the time that we are facing. That would help us, help us overcome the difficult times as well. I'm also thinking, and if you guys have any idea, do share with me, that we have a 10 million army deployed all over the world. 10 million Nepalese are globally present. How do we leverage them to Nepal advantage? How do we create an export market for ourselves? And last but not the least, I would also hope that the government works towards demand creation, policy stability, and not go against the principles of simple economics. Having said that, my last point would be for NewBiz, what we are doing is trying to be patient and trying to gradually correct ourselves on whatever we did wrong, and look forward to creating innovative concepts to sell innovative products. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. This brings us to 3 keywords deliberation from the panelists' side, but since we have said that there will be a couple of questions we'll take from the floor, if there is any question from anyone, you may ask question. Please do not set long context because we do not have such time. If you have any questions to any of our panelists, you may ask the question. You can raise your hand and we will send the mic to you. If not, then I'll have to close the session with my closing remarks. So I don't see any hands raised. I think you would want us to close this session. Thank you very much to all 3 panelists for preparing yourselves for these 3 keywords and sharing some of your trade secrets. One of the cues that Amlan has given is very, very apt for the current situation. He talked about smaller SKUs. I'll give you an example without taking the name of the brand. There's a new rice brand in the market, and it is almost taken over 25 to 30% of Kathmandu's market within a year's time. What they have done is they've come up with 1 kg branded packaging of rice. Whereas like rice was getting sold at the lowest SKU was 3 kgs for basmati rice and all. Then all those other brands, which are established brands, they were selling 5 kg and 10 kg, 30 kg sacks. And this brand comes with 1 kg pack. And it is just getting into the market, penetrating. So that cue of minimizing the size of SKU, making it much more affordable for consumer, and still making them engaged with the product is something that I would like to highlight once again that came from Amlan. Of course, 2.0, which Seva is talking about, there's huge scope there in IT sector. We do have almost 10 million people outside Nepal. If there's outside, how do we use that workforce online, and how do we take their expertise from Nepal and still export the services from Nepal outside? So there is this possibility that can be linked together. As Anand is talking about all those 10 million are Nepalese who have Nepalese palate, Nepalese taste, Nepalese behavior. Can we target them as our consumers and export products which are Nepali domestic homegrown products to them, which they will definitely get nostalgic with. And there is huge export opportunity for us there. So all these are the innovations or the ideas that come up because we are in challenging times. When you are in tough time, that's when the innovation happens. In regular time, you are so busy doing your regular business that you don't have time to think. But these are the times when we prepare, when we gear up, when we train ourselves, when we fail a couple of times, innovate, re-innovate, and come back in a full force. What I can summarize from this panel discussion is, though we are in difficult times, but there are opportunities to look up to. Though we are having challenging times for our current businesses, if we look around and try to see out of the box, there are opportunities because of our distribution network. Can we leverage that distribution network for something else that we are not producing and still distribute those other products that we acquire from someone else and still utilize that distribution channel and do business? So there are kind of innovations that we'll have to look beyond what we are doing at this point in time. If we can do that, there is opportunity, definitely. But at last, I would like to tell and say, restate that please start telling your success stories. Tell what has worked for you. Share that. Let media also explode that with big news so that everybody sees those positive news and gets that confidence back. Today, consumer, when they see empty newspapers, they think every business is going to die. Consumers feel that, oh, I need to save because nothing is working, because we are not visible. This is the time to make noise. Noise of confidence, voice of confidence that goes out in the market and the consumers, that is going to reinstill the confidence that we are looking forward to. If we can do that, I'm sure next year when we sit here, we'll be talking about growth, growth, and growth. With this, I'd like to thank all three panelists and New Businesses for organizing this panel discussion and giving me this opportunity to moderate all these eminent panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I thank all our esteemed panelists and moderator for a very, very awakening discussion. र हाम्रो panelists र moderatorलाई token of appreciation वितरण गरिदिनु हुनका लागि may I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Kesab Gautam, Director of New Business is. Very well said. Adversity is our greatest teacher. Though the economy is in downhill, but I guess a good management will always defeat a bad economy. All we need is collective effort and a discussion like this. म न्यू बिजनेस एजका साथीहरूलाई टोकन अफ अप्रिसिएसन लिएर आउनका लागि समन्वय गरिदिनु हुनका लागि पनि अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। एकदमै फलदायी सेसन थियो र यसका मोडरेटर र प्यानलिस्टहरूलाई टोकन अफ अप्रिसिएसन वितरण गर्ने कार्यक्रम अब अगाडि बढिरहेको छ। हामीसँग हुनुहुन्थ्यो मिस्टर आनन्द बगारिया, म्यानेजिङ डाइरेक्टर निम्बस होल्डिङ प्राइभेट लिमिटेड, स्पिकरका रूपमा। धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। यसैगरी हामीसँग अर्का स्पिकर हुनुहुन्थ्यो मिस सेवा पाठक, चिफ एक्जिक्युटिभ अफिसर वायनेट कम्युनिकेसन्सबाट। र हाम्रो अर्को स्पिकर हुनुहुन्थ्यो मिस्टर अम्लान मुखर्जी, म्यानेजिङ डाइरेक्टर युनिलिभर नेपाल लिमिटेड। र यो सेसनलाई अत्यन्तै कुशलतापूर्वक मोडरेट गर्नुभयो रञ्जित आचार्यज्यूले, सिइओ क्रिएटिभ हेड प्रिज्मा एडभर्टाइजिङ। म सबैजनालाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु एकदमै फ्रुटफुल सेसनका लागि। बिजनेस अपर्च्युनिटिज इन डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स, अप्ठ्यारो समयमा बिजनेसका लागि कति सम्भावनाहरू हुन्छन्, अवसरहरू के हुन्छन् भन्ने विषयमा छलफल भर्खरै हामीले सुन्यौँ। अब्स्टेकल र अपर्च्युनिटी बिचमा पातलो लाइन हुन्छ त्यो लाइनलाई कसरी चिर्ने भन्ने विषयमा अत्यन्तै फलदायी सेसन सञ्चालन गर्नुभएकोमा म मोडरेटर र प्यानलिस्टलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छु र अब हामी कीनोट स्पिचतर्फ अगाडि बढ्दैछौँ. We have Mr. Manav Mazumdar, Senior Advisor, FICCI India, as a keynote speaker for this event. Mr. Mazumdar, with over 35 years of experience, is a seasoned professional in industry analysis, economic policy, and business strategy. Currently serving as Senior Advisor at the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FICCI. He plays a very, very crucial role in India's economic policy making, focusing on industrial and trade policies. May I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Manav Mazumdar, Senior Advisor, FICCI India, as a keynote speaker for this event.
And of course, greetings from India. Honorable Minister had stepped out. He had to leave, I'm sure, for some prior and pressing engagement. But in absentia, Honorable Minister, esteemed panelists, speakers, distinguished delegates, friends, and media persons, I'm delighted to be here this evening with you all. Such a fantastic program, such a nice topic, very relevant for not only Nepal, relevant for various countries in various geographies. And of course, the presentations and the last point was the panel discussion, which was very, very enriching. Now, as in life, most of the time it happens. Any incident, any phenomenon has got both the sides. So the previous presentations, including the panel discussion, has got two aspects for my speech or address, whatever presentation. Negative side first, from my angle, many of the key points our esteemed, knowledgeable panelists have already touched. So they have already stolen the thunder, which I thought I would be able to highlight. But on a more serious note, some of the points which have been highlighted with professional experience, it really serves as good points to kickstart my discussion, my presentation. Before I get into the presentation, it's my pleasant duty to thank and first, of course, congratulate the New Business Age Private Limited on this significant occasion, and my sincere most thanks for the kind invitation and warm hospitality, Mr. Madan in particular. So thank you very much. Next. This is a standard disclaimer because I have used various secondary sources. Next, please. Of course, we have seen challenging times, we have seen difficult times. Nepal has seen it earlier, so many occasions. India has seen it, South Asia has seen it, the world has seen it. Few risks come in the original as was form, and few, of course, change the variant. Next, please. For example, although COVID, we would tend to think that it has we have left it behind, but the issue is, this will give you a snapshot kind of problems. I have just taken, I think, 5 or 6. Next. Coming back to the more recent or updated position, this is the World Economic Forum's thing. So, natural calamity or pandemic has been supplemented by, if I may use the word, with geopolitical tension, frictions, whatever. So, with that, at the moment, situation looks more challenging. How to survive downturn or difficult times? These are the standard textbook approach, conventional wisdom. Many of these have been highlighted in a more competitive and competent manner by the distinguished panelists. I will not get into that, but the importance of communication, etc., have been highlighted. I'm glad that we could start from there. Next. This is the starting point. Many other prominent people, statesmen have also highlighted that they don't want to let any crisis, any downturn to go without making that upturn. So whether it's downturn or upturn, that's the point. Next. Here, I would first like to highlight, during, and I'm underlining that, one or the other crisis, so-called difficult times, these are the prominent companies, firms, have been set up or launched their operation. Please carefully see the names. These are virtually who's who. One name I have very purposely kept out just to interact with the audience. Which company? Everybody knows it. Everybody probably, as I speak, somebody is using also. Which company? Again, which was set up during the crisis and now doing very well. WhatsApp. It was set up in 2009. And of course, the history is well known. Next. Many existing companies also performed well, and if I may use the word, seized the opportunities. Obviously, there are significant learnings. Let's see how they have created opportunities. Like a student of economics, I tried to sort of draw on some findings. Harvard Business Review, as all of you know, one of the most prominent such source. So Professor Ranjoy Gulati, he has articulated some time back, it is nearly 15 years earlier, he has done a very, very meticulous analysis of 3 recessions, 3 downturns, 80, 90, and 2000. It was nearly 5,000 firms. That time he had found 9% of the firms, of course the figure was not very high, 9% of the firms, they just not survived, they have done much better beyond the recession, respective recession period. They have flourished and, as I said, outperformed. Much later, other consulting firms like McKinsey and BCG, they have done similar analysis for different downturns, and they have found this category of firms percentage has gone up, say 13 to 18, or in some cases nearly 30%. So the areas to focus on the usual suspect, we have already heard, these are the ones. I will not have time to get into the detailed explanation, but this is the schematic exposition by Professor Gulati, which combination would be the, but in plain English, simple language, it is actually balancing. Balancing between offensive and defensive strategies in the jargon of management. Next. Let me now get into some case studies. Case studies, why? Because, and very correctly so, Mr. Madan had asked me if I could use some case studies, and which is a potent management tool. I will not bore you and I will not make you to death the PowerPoint, but kindly see that. So that means while in that Great Depression period, long enough, which lasted a long period, many firms were struggling, many firms were not even thinking of any venture. Disney did. So stay positive, again, came out from the panel discussion. Next, please. Kellogg's, familiar name. They have increased, I think Mr. Mukherjee mentioned about not to squeeze the ad budget or marketing. So this actually is a classic case which would fit in this. Because after doing that, their market share had really gone up. And the other, its competitor, probably many of us would not know even the name by now. That was Post. Kraft Foods, another. Only thing is that here the twist is different. So here it is not a big innovation. They have done, if I may use again the word, frugal innovation, and they have solved the consumer's problem, and thereby they have solved the company's problem as well. Next, please. I will spend some time on the Starbucks case study because personally I'm quite fascinated by this, not only by the coffee, but by the case study as well. So please see how a company, having remained loyal to its customers, having fostered an environment for co-creation, and worked hard on having balanced sheet flexibility, how they have done well over the years. Next. While we are discussing how we can deal with crisis or downturn or recession kind of difficult times, one particular point I would like to highlight, which may not have come up during our earlier discussion so prominently, but that is equally important, that by now we know that one type of downturn or one type of crisis will keep popping up, maybe tomorrow, or day after, or 6 months down the line. So it is prudent to have some sort of advanced planning, financial, I would say, adjustment in terms of divestment if necessary, or tightening the belt, whatever. And that should give, through either deleveraging or better prudent financial management, that will probably bring or enable the firm in a much better position to deal with the present crisis. So learning from the past, even if it was, say, 30 years earlier or 3 years back, we have to sort of beef up our preparedness as if tomorrow there is going to be another crisis. So that would go a long way, as experts feel. Customer centricity, this has come up in as many words, but customer centricity, probably we cannot really exaggerate the importance. Starbucks, just see, even if its profit fell, profits declined, its then CEO had shifted the focus back to customers. And he has sort of reimagined or reignited the emotional quotient with customers. So, if you see the innovations they have created, it's phenomenal how they reached out to the customers. I will not read the details, but kindly see the right column. Yeah, next. Still continuing with Starbucks, you will be surprised to know, those of you who do not know, that in February 2008, the company had purposely closed down all the 7,000 of its outlets in USA just to have a training session for their staff called Espresso Excellence Training. It is again both from the perspectives of their employees, their staff, as well as their consumers. So, in that downturn period also, they have spent a large amount, a huge amount, for a, I think, 3-day or 2-day conference in New Orleans, which they have, the leadership have described as the transformative exercise. But of course, if you would have asked me, I'd have said it was sort of, we are just spending money for nothing, but that is apparent. That is just optical. And the deep analysis would show how they have taken, how they have reaped the value for money. Although 2008, the profit net earning dipped. Next, please. This gentleman, Howard Schultz, the then CEO, please see this. What did he say? Even in downturn, he has spent a fortune for that conference, going much against the board. But he was adamant because he said it would be a transforming thing. So again, it is highlighting investment in people, investment in ideas. I'm still continuing with Starbucks for the digital. That time, please see the red, that app was rolled out even 3 years ahead of Apple Pay. So that time they have thought through and got into this. And again, all these are centered for their consumers. Now, Mr. Mukherjee, I would just like to share that I had a good fortune, the opportunity to have worked with, in FICCI, of course, with Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, who has stepped down last year for South Asia, but of course, learned a lot from him. And this, I know for you, it won't be nothing new, but Hindustan Unilever, the way Nepal's arm is also doing fantastic, they have also done some good work, because I thought I should not really concentrate only on so-called quote-unquote foreign firms. So please see this how a simple concept, I won't say simple, but sound simple, reverse mentoring, how that had helped a long way, and how that firms sort of tried to get back to health. Next, please. Can you see that in July 2010? Because when you say innovation, it need not be huge, massive, or phenomenal. But this kind of eye for detail and this kind of step would solve much of your problem. It would connect you much better with your customer. And of course, it will help in creating the value. Next, please. This is just a graphical presentation how they have done post 2009-10 or 8 to 9 recession. Next, please. Let me now concentrate outside India. One particular case study relating to COVID. Very interesting case of Alaska Airlines. Although they have come under weather in last 6 weeks or so, but during COVID, it was remarkable. It was remarkable how, when no major airlines dare to order any aircraft, how they have gone ahead with a massive building of aircraft capacity. How it has responded so quickly, and first US airline to have offered online booking way back in 1995. Again, you may call it innovation, you may call it frugal innovation, but the objective remained the same, simple, to connect with the consumers and to facilitate the connection by doing business simple, or by now it would be living simple. Next, please. So, up to 23, they have been doing very well. Now they are facing, as I have said earlier, few hiccups, but still they have recently announced the agreement to acquire Hawaiian Airlines. So let's see how it would do. But the basic thing remains. Alaska Airlines has taken all this expansion again during the troubled time, during the difficult business. But then they have gone ahead by doing so well. Let me quickly move on to the other case studies. Yeah, this is, of course, again, I have taken it from Ranjay Gulati's piece. Yeah, next. I'm sure many of you or all of you would recognize this ad. Why I have kept it? Can anyone suggest, because I didn't know. When I tried to do the research, I was sort of bogged down with that. But can anyone suggest or attempt why this is so unique? Why I have included it here? I thought it would be a bit of interactive as well. Okay. This was released in the peak of COVID crisis, peak of lockdown period, when Nike's products probably would not have been sold at all, or very, very fewer and the fewest numbers. But the company thought otherwise. Company thought in this dull period, we need to communicate to our customers. Again, communication was highlighted. I'm glad that I'm just building on that. And do you know what? This particular ad has touched the emotional quotient of millions of consumers, customers worldwide because of obvious reasons. Next. I've just given some detail that time what was the position pre-COVID and post-COVID, how they have, even their market share, how it has gone up. I would dare to suggest that one of the major determinant or factor has been such well thought out communication strategy which enabled to sort of create an inseparable bond between the customer base. They have got new customers. They have done it as a kind of social thing, but in the process, they have also achieved brand recall, brand promotion, and brand loyalty has gone up multiple times. Next, please. This one was Samsung. This is about R&D, simple R&D. In fact, Samsung's electronics is very interesting. There are two crisis episodes. 98, 2000, that was Asian financial crisis, and 2008-10 is a global kind of recession. Research has shown period after those recession or crisis ended, in both the cases, after that for 4, 5, or even 7 years, Samsung has enjoyed a period of uninterrupted growth, rising market share. Even in the recent one, recent means 2008-10, the last big crisis in that sense, their market share had gone up. They have emerged the best company among the Korean industry. Next, please. Anyone recognize this picture? This is actually ward number 26, Amrit Path. This is Nepal Pavilion Inn. That is the stay accommodation, Amrit Path, ward number 26, which is under Airbnb. Why I have included Airbnb? Airbnb was an excellent case study that how an apparently very small, trivial point otherwise would have escaped the attention of management, but due to their eye for details, close attention, it didn't, and how they have solved it. So, very quickly, in the initial days, when they were doing pretty poorly, even that time $200 per week, they were exploring various reasons, management reasons, and probably they were in the verge of appointing a consultant. However, what they have realized after going through meticulously those ads, there were 40 of them which were published in New York some newspapers in New York, that photographs coming up which were published along with the ads, were very unclear, were not coming up very well. Quality was poor. Why? Because the owners of those properties, those accommodations, they would have taken typically with their smartphone. That time smartphone was probably, at least whatever they have used, it was not of that high quality. So with those poor quality photographs there in the ad, potential customers were not sure whether they would go ahead with the booking of such uncertain property, uncertain picture. What was the solution? Very simple. They have just dashed down to New York, hired or bought a quality camera, gone to the properties, got good quality photographs, published in, say, another 60 photographs next week, and then it was history. So those were the case studies. I know I have used so many, I thought I will just give it a flavor. So now, if I distill all those parameters, all those characteristics, all those features, what do we get? These are the steps, these are the measures companies would have taken if they would have to emerge from survivor to winner. From survivor to winner, all these stages are necessary. Next. So if we call them as resilient companies, then how they have emerged, this is again a graphical representation. Next. Profitability of winners obviously would have accelerated for the reasons we have tried to explore and explain until now. Next. Companies that invested in innovation through the crisis period, obviously they have emerged as a better company and doing well post-crisis. I have just tried to summarize here all those attributes. Customer centricity, I think it should be first and way above any other qualities, so there is some gap. So all these are necessary attributes. Next. I will spend little time, 30 seconds to 45 seconds, on this. New age technology, productivity tools. Of course, Shivaji had highlighted some of those in you have highlighted in your presentation. If I may just subsume everything under one word, tech, and the value drivers, some of them are in social nature, DEI, ESG, talent management. Let me not get into the first block because we have already seen it was amplified very well. But these value drivers, are these just CSR? Are these just social consciousness? No, they are not. Please see how they have helped the business, how they have helped the turnaround, how they have helped the companies to emerge winner, to emerge victorious after having withstood the crisis period. Again, the tech solutions, how they are helping, I will not read through all of them, but please see how digital, the entire space of digital, including analytics, how have been helping, they have been helping various company management who are taking them seriously and investing. Again, invest. Next. AI, of course, more tech-oriented people would be knowing the nuances, but as a principle, as a process, this would be the main my selling point. It would transform good or average work into great work. Next. This is again a case study, so I'll skip it. Basically, how AI has been helping Indian farmers. This is a case study done by World Economic Forum. Industry 4.0, that is again another important tool. Next. Very quickly, 3 more case studies for this part. Tech or even those social drivers. So how CIPLA have benefited, the results are summarized at the bottom. That means having invested in those productivity enhancing tools, sustainability, supply chain resilience, core business, pure business parameters have also shown registered huge improvement. Next, please. Similar for the Sri City facility of this company. Again, they have achieved very remarkable results with those. Next. Dr. Reddy's laboratory. And I have included Dr. Reddy's and CIPLA purposely because both the firms are present in Nepal. So again, results are obvious. Next. New value drivers. Please note only one fact or factor. We are not discussing these new drivers, ESG, diversity and inclusion, just as a concept, just as a coffee book or anything else. It is actually getting into business, and by doing so, business is deriving value that is helping in churning out or improving their number. So that is the story I would like to highlight here. Next. McKinsey analysis, that red part, the greater the DI representation, the higher the likelihood of better performance. Next. This is about skilling, reskilling, or upskilling to take advantage of AI and other tools, Industry 4.0. In fact, I'm very happy that it was highlighted in as many words in the panel discussion. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Mukherjee, towards the end, suggested, be positive. Let it be known to the public at large that there is positivity. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So, creativity, resilience. Along with that, enormous positivity and confidence that, yes, I will make it. That is the most critical determinant to enable any business, any company, whatever size agnostic, to come out of the crisis. And I am not commenting on Nepal because I don't want to comment on Nepal because I don't know much. But this is actually country, geography, sector neutral. Whatever you have seen, if you see the last bullet, whatever I have developed, that body of case studies, it actually shows you this. Next. When you are lost, any old map will do. Very quickly, those who do not know, again, it's a management story. Once a group of soldiers, they lost way in the Himalayas somewhere, and there was absolutely foul weather. So they were trying to figure out how can they go to the, or come down to the base. They were struggling, and towards the end of, almost when they were about to give up, one soldier found a map. They have then referred to the map and found their way to the base in next, say, 48 hours. Once they reached the base, then some boss or some senior had pointed out, this map actually was not of that terrain. It was of Hindu Kush Parvat. So the idea is one has to have some motivating tool. One has to have something which will boost your confidence and keep you going. That's why the famous organizational psychologist Carl Weick, he said, when you are lost, any old map will do. How so true? Create value for both consumers and company. I think everybody knows it, but I have already spent much time on Starbucks. Otherwise, I would have told how Starbucks has done it. So I don't have time. Next. Value in people. Invest in people. You don't have any option, actually. This is not a matter of discussion. You have to do it, period. On the right side, the top quote, it was by the president, former president of Starbucks company. His name was Howard Baer. He said, we are not in the coffee business serving people. We are in the people business serving coffee. How about that? I just love it. Author Vivian Greene, I think the spelling is wrong, but nevertheless, said it's about learning how to dance in the rain, because otherwise the storm which would come, it will probably disrupt your life, your business, your company, everything. Alternative is, instead of just waiting for it to mess up our life, we should learn to dance in the rain. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind attention. I think we should be ready. We should be ready to learn in the dance, whether it is in Nepal, India, or anyone else, any other country. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manav Mazumdar, Senior Advisor, FICCI India, for your insight remarks as keynote remarks. So I'd also like to welcome Mr. Mukul Umagai to present token of appreciation to our keynote speaker. Mr. Manav Mazumdar, I welcome you.